Hello everyone. Let's see if I can switch over to the game without any trouble. There we go. I'm having to futz around with my screen resolution a little bit to ensure that things will run smoothly, so things are looking a little choppy on my end, but they should look good on yours, if all is well. At least as far as me switching between windows is concerned. The city itself may be a little choppy, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. But here we are. Welcome to Cities Skylines 2. The long-awaited and much discussion-sparking second edition of this game. So we'll get into things in a minute, but first I will point out that channel points are now active. So if you would like to name something in the city, there is a channel point redemption option for that. It is very cheap to reflect the fact that you will only have had this stream's worth of points available. And maybe I'll add some more things later, but this I thought was a good time for me to start taking on that extra little bit of complexity. We're looking at the title screen here, and I'm not sure why continue game is grayed out, because I did have another game I was playing before, but maybe it's because I logged out of my Paradox account. We'll see. I logged out because if you don't, it actually shows a little bit of your email address here, which there's absolutely no reason for it to do. I've told it a username in the Paradox launcher, it will show that instead of even a munged email address. If you give it a username, why can't it just do it here? I don't understand. Here in notifications, when you first fire up the game, it will tell you that it is loading virtual textures, and you want to wait for that to finish. That is one of the things that helps the game run more smoothly. If I go into options, I have autosaves on, and let's just go through the list of what I've got here. This is lower than my native resolution. I've got a lot of things disabled and set to low. I think I could be pretty okay with higher settings if I weren't also streaming from the same computer. Gameplay, edge scrolling's off. Day-night visuals are off because, as we've seen, it's just difficult to actually build your city while things are dark. Starting paused is an option that you can set. And tutorials are on. I'm gonna go ahead and reset all tutorials to make sure that we see them all. Interface, I've turned up the text scaling really high so that if there's any fuzziness in the stream on your end, you will have some hope of perhaps reading things. Let's see. All of this is fine. I think that's all we need to know about for now. So happy Sunday. I hope everyone's having a good one. I'm having a busy one. I have a definite rivalry now with oil-based stains. They're harder to work with than I wish they were. But let's get into it. So we've got a bunch of different maps here. They've all got themes, which are kind of the default appearance of what your buildings will look like. Climate is something different in this game. Instead of having some maps just be snowy by default and others not, There are more weather changes. Some of these are in the northern hemisphere, some in the southern. There's however much buildable area, whatever outside connections, natural resources. So we've got a bunch of these. We've got Archipelago Haven, Barrier Island, looks like New York. Let's see, which one of these did I want to use? There's San Francisco. I know a popular pastime with City Skylines 1 was recreating San Francisco in various ways. So you can do that if you want. Maybe even got the Golden Gate Bridge in there. Let's see. Tampere is a nice one. Twin Mountains. Let's go with Tampere. It's nice looking, and there's a bunch of roads already in place. Okay, so theme. Okay, yes, the visual style of buildings, service vehicles and roads, road signs, and traffic lights. So I'm actually going to set this to North American. You can select left-hand traffic if you want. I will not, because I'm American. Natural disasters on. We will not unlock everything. We will not give ourselves unlimited money. I'll go ahead and give us the tutorial. And I'm gonna call this Solaran City, in honor of two cities in video games, Solaran and Dalaran, both known for having long load times. So, let's get in there and hope that it works. I have occasionally had it crash during this loading screen, but I think that usually happens if I don't give it as much time to do things like load virtual textures, so we shall see. How's the temperature situation? Yeah, we're all right. Of course, we haven't really done anything yet, but we'll see. I have played a little bit in a separate file. Just kind of enough to get the hang of things. Okay, here we go. Welcome to City Skylines 2. This is the place to build the city of your dreams. Take on in-depth challenges of managing city services and directing traffic flow and follow the lives of your citizens. Tutorials are here to guide you as you take your first steps towards building a city. As you progress, more hints and guidance become available in case you need it. Cool. Let's look at how to move about your landscape by using camera controls. Great. WASD. Even this can be a little choppy, just scrolling around. I had to turn a lot of settings way down just to be able to do this and have it respond. Rotate the camera with Q and E. Tilt with the center mouse. Zoom in and out. Looks good. Great job! You are now ready to start your first city. To guide you through your steps, we have prepared a task list for you. Start a task by selecting play and complete the steps to unlock the feature. You will also see hints along the way. They point out useful information. You can proceed at your own pace and revisit any completed task by selecting play again. Start first task. Okay, we are also paused because I told it to start and pause. And before we do anything, I'm going to zoom out a bit. Yeah, see that? That was a delay on my end too. So here we are. We're on this little isthmus. And we've got our highway connection coming in. Now this is interesting. Because this looks like the kind of thing that I might want to someday turn back into an actual highway again. But then maybe not necessarily, because we've also got the rest of the highway over there. We've also got... Yes. There's a tutorial. I'm looking around. Shush, Chirper. We've also got train tracks already here, which is nice. And as you will note, we also have an external power connection, which we will learn about in a moment here. Looks like we've also got cargo ships already nearby. We've got, you can just barely see the edge of the playable area. So, what's this? Ruins. Castle ruins. Yep, that's what it is. Okay, well, let's start road basics. A city exists around roads. When you build a road, a cell grid appears on the land next to it. This is the area where you can build on. Most roads also come with a built-in utility network. This is a big change. We do not need, in most cases, to lay down an electrical grid or water pipes, because they're just under the roads automatically, which is usually where we would have put them anyway. So that's kind of a nice quality of life thing. A network of electric cables and pipes for water and sewage, so all buildings connected to a road with a utility network automatically have a connection to the utilities. I have seen some bugs with this, though. I tried placing a hub building for a livestock farm, and it claimed it was not connected to those things when it really should have been, and I have seen posts to the effect that other buildings have had issues, so we shall see. Road type. Roads come in different sizes and configurations, ranging from small alleys and one-way streets all the way to large highways. The larger the road, the higher the speed limit and traffic capacity. Cool. The two-lane road is a basic road with 2 lanes, one in each direction, with street lamps on one side. It is easy to build with, but it can only support a low amount of traffic. When selecting a road, keep an eye on the information panel. It will show you how much the road costs to build and maintain, and how much electricity the built-in utility network can handle. Okay. Tool options can be used to build what you want. Straight road, curved road, bendy ones. Grid is new. You can basically draw out a grid of roads. Now you can set how you want the elevation to go. That's basically saying what I just said. You can use this to replace one kind of road with another. Elevation. This is similar to what we've seen before. How much to change the elevation per step. Parallel mode is new. This mode makes 2 of the selected roads run perfectly aligned next to each other. You can increase or decrease the space between the roads once you turn the mode on. I haven't tried this yet, but it would be really useful for, say, making highways that go right next to each other. And lots of snapping options. We'll see those in a bit. Okay, build a road. Sure. We have the medium road available to us also, which is kind of nice, because the first thing you kind of want to do, I find, is just extend what's already here. And this should look pretty familiar. There's good snapping. And this circle at each end shows the radius of the zoning. You can see how it lines up over there. You can also see that zoning is 6 of these little squares deep rather than 4, so that's just kind of a thing to get used to. Alright, so now that we've built one little road, that will progress our tutorial. Alright, bulldozer, there it is. We'll use that later. Okay, it's gonna want us to zone residential next. Oh, and we can see the shipping line over here. Okay, so where do I want to put my residential zone? I feel like maybe tucking some of it away over here. I can't really see any big useful maps at this point. So let's curve a road up this way. Yes, Chirper, thank you. And you can also see we're getting experience points for building. That's going to become important in a little bit. Okay, there we go. Let's put a little bit of... Let's put a little bit more road. In the water. Ooh, I have to place a bridge specifically. Very well. We will leave that there for now. Let's go back to the small roads. And we'll put a little bit of a grid out this way. Nice angle snapping, and it shows you the angles on either side. Chirper, for heck's sake. I wasn't usually one of the people wanting to slaughter Chirper, but I'm starting to have second thoughts. Interesting that I wasn't able to quite get a perfect grid there. Oh, interesting. The trees that came back are not full-size trees. They're babies. They gotta grow back up. All right. I had not observed that before. Can I nail it right here? Yes. Okay, well, we'll make it a perfect grid on that side, sort of. But let's leave a little bit of Chirper. Promise, Chirper. I will talk to you in a minute. Mommy's busy. And let's... put in a slightly wiggly road there. I'm just taking the time to make it look nice. Slightly wonky intersection there. Let's make sure I don't make things harder for myself later. Chirper, why? Throw me off count. There we go. That looks nice. And now let's make a nice straight path here. And a nice straight path here. Let's hook it up. Might have to do like before and slaughter Chirper.
To Second Moon, the epitome of classical listening at home or wherever you roam.
Not 100% sure that's how it's pronounced. Let's start it off straight and make it a little bendy. There. That can be our first residential area. So, zoning residential. Zoning determines which types of buildings are built in the selected area. Buildings in zoned areas get built automatically depending on the city's needs. Areas that are not zoned will remain empty. Cool. Zones are divided into groups according to the types of buildings they allow for. Now they give you finer control over this kind of thing than they used to. I'll show you in a moment. You can choose which theme the zone of buildings follow. This affects the visual style of buildings that get built in an area. You can make them look North American or European. You can change the theme at any time. The change will come into effect for any new zoning you apply. So if you want a particular chunk of your city to look European and the rest to look North American or vice versa or whatever, you can do that. Different modes help you shape your zones exactly the way you want. Huzzah! Low density housing. This zone type is for single family homes. They have a positive effect on the residents' happiness, but can become expensive to live in when land value rises. Yeah. Different job types and the availability of jobs affect the demand for different types of housing. Okay. Now you see low density housing is here, but we also have medium density, which we will unlock later. So for row houses or apartment buildings, which is separate from mixed housing with commercial on the bottom and apartments on top, that is a very common real-life thing. Low rent housing, large apartment buildings with small affordable apartments. The lower rents provide lower tax income as a result. And high density housing. So we don't just have low and high, we have a bunch of intermediate steps here. I'm gonna draw out this road now that we're here. Now that I got that stuff set up the way I want. There. Okay, now I can zone these, and for reasons which I may show you in a minute, I'm going to leave a little bit of space around major intersections. Actually, you know what? I'm going to decide that the zone is in slightly the wrong place. Condemned buildings, that kind of works the same as before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's leave that clear for now. Okay, let's start up time and get out of zoning. And now we can see construction sites going in. Okay, we have no power. So I think we need to do these other things while paused so that things will make sense. Commercial zones provide space for different types of business uses. This zone type is for single-story or low-rise buildings for small businesses. These businesses provide important local services such as stores, restaurants, and gas stations for citizens living nearby. Yes, it's a giant crane farm. So I am going to put these by the big street. There's our commercial zone. And now industrial. Yes, I know about pausing time. That's fine. They're going to want me to place an industrial area next. Let's put that... Let's put that over here. I'm kind of thinking I don't want it right next to the river. So let's extend this road a bit. It looks to me as though this... Oh, hey, a plane. As though this game is more forgiving with your starting up stuff because of kind of having more ability to import the first few things you need. So let's plan on having some industry close to this train track. Yes, Chirper, thank you. So let's get our 2-lane road in. How's it going, Data X Flexagon? Don't be afraid to ask questions about anything that looks unfamiliar or confusing. There we go. I'm gonna draw this in. Chirper, are you... Oh, what are you doing? Silly bird. Okay, well this will do. This will keep the industry kind of away from the main road for now. Okay, zoning industrial. Industrial zones provide land for the industrial businesses. Now they're showing us wind speed and direction because smog is a thing. You don't want to build your industry just upwind of your residential area. That would be terrible. So this looks like a pretty good place to put industry for now, since the wind is going to blow all the smog that way. This zone, industrial manufacturing. This zone type allows for all types of industrial manufacturing buildings and warehouses. They process materials to create material goods which can be further processed by other industries, sold by commercial businesses, or used by city services. Very well. I'm going to do like before and leave a little spare space around intersections. And now let's get into electricity and water and sewage. These bars give you info on what types of zones are currently needed in your city. The fuller the bar, the higher demand is for that zone type. And worth noting, it's not just residential, commercial, and industrial. You will see multiple residential bars based on what density of residential people want. All right, almost everything in the city needs electricity to work. There's a variety of ways to generate electricity, and each choice comes with its own pros and cons. A coal power plant is a great source of high voltage electricity. High versus low matters, but it also generates a lot of pollution. Wind power is a source of green energy, but the output is completely reliant on weather. And electricity can also be imported from neighboring cities by using power lines. This requires no maintenance on your part, but buying electricity when the population grows can get expensive. Select the source of electricity you want to start with and close this panel to move on. You can backtrack back to this panel if you change your mind. You can also build more and different types of electricity sources as you progress. So... and the turbine gives us low voltage. Interesting. So if we want a big old wind turbine, we can plunk that into some of these nice windy places. But we can also where is oh, it thinks I've selected this. All right. Well, let's put one in. Why not? These low voltage cables can be used to connect the turbines to each other and to roads. You can lower the elevation to run electric cables underground. Connect the wind turbine to a road with electric cable. Okay. Here's the cable. I need you to connect. That's overlapping. Do I need to step you up here? We didn't do it this way before. There we go. Maybe I had to zoom in. Slightly strange. Electricity info view shows an overlay of electricity flow throughout the city to help spot weaknesses and solve problems. Electricity flow is animated to show how much electricity is flowing and where it's going. And there's a limit to how much electricity electric cables and power lines are able to transfer. Okay. When an electric cable or line has exceeded maximum capacity, a bottleneck will form. To clear the bottleneck and resume electricity service, you will need to bypass the bottleneck by redirecting electricity flow, which can be directed and diverted with
Pending updates to our power grid, the city will be experiencing rolling blackouts.
With power lines and transformer stations.
To remain calm during these breaks in service and to follow the guidelines on the city's website on how to plan for these temporary events. This has been a local public service announcement.
Recent spikes in demand have led to temporary local shortages in the city's fresh water supply. The public should be aware that we are struggling to get the situation in hand. This has been a local public service announcement. You're listening to Second Moon Radio with J. Thomas Hornbuckle, and we're pervading some of the finest classical music on the air. Keep that dial right here.
I'm just gonna connect this up to look a little bit nicer. There. Alright, well that should make sure we always have enough power, because we're just importing it. Yes, Chirper. Every city needs a good water network. Groundwater pumping station can be used if your current city limits contain underground water deposits. You can't just put them anywhere. They're placed on the surface above the water deposit to provide clean water for the city. A water pumping station can be used if your current city limits has access to open water, which we do. So let's see where this is going. This flows in this direction. So let's put that here. If your station isn't connected to a road, you'll need to build one. Okay. What's this? Old mill ruins. Well, let's leave that alone for now. Okay. Notification icons are shown to highlight different situations. Some guide you in placing buildings and building roads. Others are signs of a problem. And sewage. We all knew this was coming. So, sewage. I'm going to put it, as always, downstream of everything. We've built it, a single sewage pipe to connect sewage outlets to the network. There we go. Okay, you can visit the pause menu at any time. Well done, let's continue. The city service building has no road access. Okay, well, which one? You guys should all be doing better now because I've hooked up everything. Okay. Everyone's happy, everything's getting built. Silent Saul's Real Estate. New and old customers. Find us at 196 Cherry Street. Pile Stack is hiring. Alright. We have an overabundance of electricity production, so we're selling the excess to the outside world. Ooh. That's cool. Now let's see. Roundabouts. Small roundabout. A small roundabout central island. Can I put this here? Yes, look at this. I can very easily transform a basic intersection into a roundabout. Now this does eat into these corner spaces, which is why I left space. It's a roundabout now. I didn't have to draw a circle by hand. Thank goodness. Let's put another one here. All right, everyone wants more residential, which makes sense. We need people to move in. So let's start painting these areas. And I'm going to echo advice given by Salford Sal, which is don't expand too fast. So you can see zoning makes the demand shift pretty quickly, so we don't necessarily want to get ahead of ourselves in any one regard. But let's speed things up just so we can start seeing actual buildings and not just a crane farm. There we go. We have some nice houses. We've got solar panels on the rooftops. We've got little greenhouses. Watch the cranes spin round and round like clocks. Oh, it's Metropolis for sure. I love warm weather. I hope it is not going to rain today. Ah, now check out these commercial buildings. Look at those parking lots. Parking capacity is something we have to worry about in this game. So all these little small businesses that we've put in have parking lots to support them. People want more houses, all right. Maybe put some little houses in the corner. We can see what those look like. There was demand for industry for a minute there, but then it went away. Okay, I'm gonna draw this out a bit. Is that a right angle? I'm not sure. And bulldozing is so quiet. Okay, speaking of shovels, we can put in walking paths. I'm gonna go ahead and put one here. And they kind of more blatantly connect to the sidewalks than they used to, which is really nice. Pathways are for pedestrians and can be built wherever there's room. Excellent. Let's see. I'm going to leave that open for another path. And more people want to move in. All right, no demand for anything at the moment. They look like overkill for what's being built. Yeah, it's like we've got a few places with overkill cranes, and then everything else is just flat. Like, these are the kinds of cranes you see on top of a skyscraper in progress. This place is very flat with a lot of water going through. Yeah, maybe I should have been more cautious there. Well, we can always move things away later if we have to. People's happiness is going up. They like their spacious homes. They're happy with their level of wealth. They have an abundance of leisure time. Maybe that means there's not enough jobs for everyone. Even more housing, alright. It's like building an unattached ranch house with a 10-story crane. Yeah, I think that's literally what it is. Let's look at these little houses. That's a cute little house. Whose car is this? City car. Private vehicle. Parked.
You're back with Second Moon Radio, your second musical home from home. So settle back in your chair, pour yourself a glass, and prepare for another hour of musical delight. Tonight we are doing a musical tour of Italia. Land of art and culture. Que bon, as they say. And an aria inspired by the infamous Vivaldi shall be our guide.
Interesting news from the city's export division. Sources tell us that our city has more services than we know what to do with.
And you know what that means, folks. It means we're not cutting things close enough.
Well, no. The point is we're selling it and bringing money into local
That's right.
economy.
You could almost say it's too much of a good thing.
Or we could say that we're enjoying a positive trade balance and the economy is booming. More after this.
I have seen a forum request to shut those guys up. But hey, we're a tiny village. Congratulations, your efforts are bearing fruit and your city has taken its first steps towards success. We got a lot of money for it. We also got some points here. Hello, Reliable Battles. How's it going? Let's see. Let me get myself into the... Does anyone else just praise the sun? Yes, every Dark Souls player ever. Let's look at milestones in a moment because I need to give Reliable Battles a shout out. Which means my resolution's going to do terrible things. There we go. Shout out for you. I have seen you running some actual battles lately. Let's see. Let's resume. Yeah, and there have been some people streaming it. There were even some people streaming it before its official release. And Salford Sal was having a lot of fun with it. But you know, forums are saying a lot of things, so I'm sure people are making a lot of decisions based on what they see streamers doing and saying about the game. Milestones. Yes, develop your city to reach the next milestone. Track how your city is growing and how far you have to go to reach the next milestone. Village, all the way up to Grand Village. Town up to town. Big town. City. Metropolis. Thriving metropolis. Flourishing metropolis. Expansive metropolis. Massive metropolis. And megalopolis. I wasn't too well able to... There we go. Development trees allow you to access new service buildings and other buildable items for your city. So this is how we're going to unlock a lot of these things. Basic services will be automatically unlocked when you reach new milestones. To develop and grow the service further, unlock the next item along the tree and build it in your city. Each city service has its own development tree. So we have a development point available. We can get more types of roundabouts. We can get advanced road services, and it would kind of be nice to advance into making more kinds of roads quickly. For electrical stuff, it's mostly unlocking more different kinds of power plants, with the sustainable ones being kind of farther down. Nuclear power is an option. Wonder if that can have a disaster. That's something they completely sidestepped in the first city Skylines. Water treatment plant, advanced water pumping station, healthcare and death care. You know what? I'm gonna slow things down while I'm talking. So we have basic healthcare services, but if we want a larger hospital or if we want to have a crematorium instead of a cemetery, and various kinds of garbage management. There's also things like education, police, transportation, all the stuff you'd expect. Let's unlock advanced road services so that we can move on to highways and large roads. Because I don't want to be stuck without the ability to use these when we need them. Achievements, they're actually showing progress towards these, which is a little weird to put in pop-ups. What's your problem? Lack of labor. The company cannot find enough employees. Because there's huge demand for housing. Maybe we can put some more over here. Yeah, everyone wants more people. Okay, so if I want these larger roundabouts, then that's what I need the point for. But for this one... And, yeah, if your computer setup has... Reliable Battles, if your computer setup has had a hard time with the various stream games that you try to run, this may be a little rough. I have my settings turned way down, actually. Of course, I make things harder for myself by playing and streaming on the same laptop. It's a tricky thing. You know, this is so close to straight. Let me tear this out. But yeah, when I did a test the other day and tried to record and play at the same time, because, you know, I can't stream without actually going live. I could barely scroll the screen without turning the settings way down. So let's preserve this nice set of ruins here. That's really pretty. But let's get some higher density housing in over here. You can see it's still a little bit choppy. Oh yeah, with an old graphics card. I mean, and my laptop isn't even all that old. I got it in like March, April of 2020. Let's not tear out our castle. Oh, interesting. It tries to balance the zoning on either side. Okay, but let's put in some row housing. Let's make smaller houses there along that side. And we can put the single family homes right up near the castle. You are sad about smog. Where are you? You're here. You should be upwind of the industry. But we need healthcare. Good healthcare system helps prevent diseases and untimely deaths by treating the sick and injured. Sick citizens visit clinics and hospitals for treatment on their own, or if they are in serious condition, an ambulance will be sent out to pick them up. Okay, so let's put a hospital... If we put it here, it'll be within easy range of people getting hurt on the job. Build a medical clinic. There it is. It's got a parking lot. And death care. Each citizen will eventually pass away. Death care services exist to take care of the deceased. Cemeteries are large, yes, very large, park-like locations where deceased citizens are buried. Hearses pick up the deceased and transport them to the cemetery for burial. Look at how big this is. We could put it right next to the hospital, kind of across from the river. Or we could put it closer to the residential area. There you go. People can be near their loved ones. Look at how detailed this is. It's got the parking out front and this kind of structure here, and then loads of headstones back there. Now, one of the things that Cities Skylines 1 did with its cemeteries was you could see it filling up as it got fuller, but this one, they just make it look all filled up right from the beginning. It's really pretty, though. Okay, and that we do like having this near our residential areas because it gives people well-being and indoor recreation. Indoor? Oh well. Maybe because it counts as taking place within the bounds of a building. Upgrades provide things such as higher capacity or faster and cleaner services. Okay. Upgrades. Depending on the upgrade, it is added on top of an existing building or placed on the side as a separate sub-buildings. Cool. Mausoleum. A memorial tomb for a person of importance. The cemetery becomes a sightseeing attraction. A temple, a small place of reverence, provides increased well-being. Okay. And we need a crematorium in order to have a columbarium.
You're listening to Second
What
Moon,
happens if we
the
put this in?
epitome of classical listening at home.
Okay,
Or
that will get
wherever
tacked
you
onto
roam.
the side.
A housing shortage is driving up prices in the area.
That's right, Glenda. But apparently, that's not all good news. We're joined today by an expert guest, Professor Nutbutter.
Welcome, Professor. So, a housing shortage is bad for the people trying to move here, right?
Humans are programmed to desire certain representations within ideological reward structures.
Oh my
which are
goodness, these people.
entirely apart from the actual rewards enjoyed. For example, consider capital.
One final question, Professor. Is the housing shortage going to make me richer?
By certain metrics, perhaps yes, in the short term.
I like the sound of that.
But what we are discussing is the study of a statistical abstraction and its effect on the human
Thank you, Professor.
It is a question of priorities.
It's like,
Interesting news from the city's export division. Sources tell us that our city has more services than we know what to do with.
And you know what that means, folks. It means we're not cutting things close enough.
Well, no. The point is we're selling it and bringing money into local
That's right.
economy.
You could almost say it's too much of a good thing.
Or we could say that we're enjoying a positive trade balance and the economy is booming. More after this.
it's like Stan Freberg's Scrooge versus Dr. Pinderschloss from the Addams Family. There's no other way I can sum up that conversation. But okay, there's that. Now, I was just about to get into garbage management. Good garbage management system keeps citizens healthier and happier. Garbage management facilities send out trucks that collect waste from around the city and bring it back for processing. Landfill's the basic garbage management facility. Collected garbage is stored in the dumping area, also known as a lot. Garbage management buildings generate pollution in their vicinity, so take care when choosing a location. The circle around the building marks how far you can extend the lot from the building. So that's an interesting thing about landfills in this game. You don't just plunk them down and they take up however much space they take up. You plunk down kind of the front part of it and then you extend the lot out the back. And we're surrounded by so much water here. I hope we don't get into the groundwater too much. This is our way out. Yeah, a lot of garbage. I'm gonna build some more roads before I place that. I would usually put that kind of thing kind of in the industrial area. Let's see where else I could go. I don't want to destroy all these trees because there's other stuff we can do with those eventually. Though I haven't gotten much into that myself, even in my other playthrough. Speaking of which, let's save the game. Eastvale, yeah, that's what it was. Solaran City. We're about an hour in. And resume. How are you appalled at healthcare? I gave you a clinic. Okay, so here's our dumping area. We can kind of extend it out. As far as we want. Ah! like to exit out of that mode. Landfill. Drag a node to move it. So if I move you here. Move you here. Yeah, okay. Drag edge to insert a new node. Sometimes the game gets into an odd state with that sort of thing. But there's our landfill. That will do for now. Okay, what do people want? People want medium density housing. Sure thing. Actually, I'm going to clear this out and then rezone it. Because if I keep it away from the road, that also ensures that everything will be facing the same way. So the demand for single-family homes is also dropping because maybe some people who would have preferred a single-family home are at least willing to live in the row house, if that's what they can find. Any more I can squeeze in? Let's clear these out. Okay, plenty of room for people to live if you just move in. Plenty of industrial space. We have other kinds of roads available. 3-lane asymmetric, one way of various kinds, a gravel road, alley, narrow 2-lane road without sidewalks, pedestrian street, a street where only foot traffic is allowed apart from service and delivery vehicles, 2-lane wooden covered bridge. Oh, covered bridges. Alright, well let's extend this out a little more. Oh, that's overlapping with that. All right. Well, let's move the road over then. Slightly wonky, but we'll make it work. Oh, here's the music that sounds like Enya. All it needs is some vocal effects. Speed things up a bit. Okay, people seem to be balancing their needs pretty well. What's going on here? Okay, people want all kinds of residential. Let's fill you in. With the slightly higher density stuff, we can get more people. And can I put in maybe a nice little frontage road here? Fill in this gap. Yeah. Okay, that's looking good. And we're gonna need more residential soon. How can I see? Okay, if I bring in industrial, I can see where the wind is blowing. Maybe want to have more residential across here, but not too close to the landfill. Of course, another thing I can do, we can build more map tiles.
You're listening to Second Moon Radio with J. Thomas Hornbuckle, and we're pervading some of the finest classical music on the air. Keep that dial right here.
All right, milestone 2 unlocked, small village.
The shortage is driving up prices in the area.
That's right, Glenda. But apparently that's not all good news. We're joined today by an expert guest, Professor Nutbutter.
Welcome, Professor. So a housing shortage is bad.
Oh,
for
these
people
guys
trying to
again.
move here, right?
Humans are programmed to desire certain representations within ideological reward structures, which are entirely apart from the actual rewards enjoyed. For example, consider capital.
One final question, Professor. Is the housing shortage going to make me richer?
By certain metrics, perhaps yes, in the short term.
I like the sound of that.
But what we are discussing is the study of a statistical abstraction connection and its effect on the human
Thank you, Professor.
It is a question of priorities.
And on to our main feature story. The
Come on,
commercial
guys.
district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
No, go away forever. Okay, outside connections are routes to neighboring cities and the rest of the outside world. They can be roads and tracks as well as water or air routes. They are used by people moving in as well as visiting tourists. Your city also imports and exports goods and materials through these connections. Okay, great. Road and track connections. To build a new outside connections, you need to expand your city by buying map tiles until you reach the edge of the map. Once done, build roads or tracks right up to the edge and an outside connection point will be established. Water routes work similarly. We have some pre-built ones, it looks like. And air routes are just wherever. Now you can see these are much smaller map tiles than we would have been working with in Cities Skylines 1. If this were Cities Skylines 1, we'd be looking at buying another 3x3 chunk here, but we can get way more granular with how we want to expand, which means things like, we don't have to buy a chunk that extends way into the water, which would be of no use to us. But we are needing more residential space. Let's expand over into this little area first. I think there was a bridge. Yeah, you don't like the housing market. Nobody does. It's fine. 2-lane truss arch bridge or a covered bridge. Guess this is how we have to get across the water. Elevation too low, distance too short. Alright, well, we'll suppose... and this is a larger road. Yeah, some maps have outside connections already. I think I'm gonna have to just raise the road up a bit. So if I come up here. Yeah. I don't have to do a special bridge. Didn't have to bend the road, though. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, well, let's get some more housing in. We can paint these little sections first. Ah, you want education. All right. We are going to set down some schools. Education city services provide citizens with schools, colleges, and universities. Citizen education affects their job position and the income level of their household. Citizens have different preferences for their level of education, affected by their well-being and job opportunities in the city. Okay, so if we put this kind of nicely located for lots of residential and then a high school. This is a bigger building. Let's put it here. Maybe start expanding out this way. Yeah, no happy, sad faces, just a bunch of stars. So these little green things that we earn when we rank up the city are expansion permits. I guess it's got some oil deposits. Can I see? Yes, let's see what the resources are. Building level. No, I can't see that yet. Well, I'm gonna put residential here anyway, so I'm not gonna care too much about it. Let's just go. Let's get this section too. We don't necessarily need to get this last little bit up here, because there's not a whole lot else there. Okay, and here's a train track. This bend. All right, but I don't want to get too close to the train track because I'm sure we'll want train stations later. So let's... Oh, it's chugging a bit. Let's pull this out this way. There are large roads like 6-lane road that allows traffic in both directions, with a divider in the middle. 7-lane asymmetric, 8-lane divided, 6-lane one-way, 7-lane one-way. We've got bridges of various kinds, including the Golden Gate Bridge. I pre-ordered the game, so I got the Golden Gate as part of that. And they use it in the San Francisco map. But it's not what I'm using at the moment. Let's kind of run it parallel to the train track. And put these in. Okay, what kinds of housing do people want? We got a lot of people who want single family housing. Let's Maybe tuck those behind the school for now. Citizens are mostly happy, except for these few people who don't like the noise. Okay, most of all, people want commercial. New signature building available. Rock Musician Mansion. A famous rock star lives in this mansion when not on tour. Okay, signature buildings are something special. Where are these? Signature buildings. Special unique buildings that grant XP awards and provide various benefits to their surroundings. Once unlocked, you can build one of each of the signature buildings. It grants you XP. Many signature buildings have a positive effect on the area surrounding it. They're organized by the zones they are related to, but they can be placed in any zone on the map. Each theme has its own corresponding set of signature buildings. You can build one from each of both sets. Okay. +2 well-being within 500 meters. Okay, well here's this fancy house then. If we want to make this a big old residential area, we can put that there. How far is 500 meters? It's not really showing me the radius of its effect. This would be up by itself, I think. Right by the water.
This is Second Moon Radio, classical for the modern age. Unlike most modern music, classical has always been penned by someone sitting in front of a sheet of blank paper, using only their imaginations as guides through a silent audial masterpiece. Now, here we sit, listening at full volume, and our souls are transported. But let us not tarry. On to the next rapisode.
A famous rock star lives in this mansion when not on tour. Household wealth poor. Residence 2. Ah, we are now importing electricity. Now, if I don't like that, I can add more windmills. And we need a little more row housing. Oh, or small apartment buildings. Sure, why not? And a little more commercial. Hello? I'd like to live somewhere, like a building. You're fine. High school. What upgrades can we give it? Extension wing. The school's enlarged to make room for more students. Or a school library. Provide students with a better chance of graduating. Or a sports field. How big is this? Oh, that's huge. I would need to move the school itself in order to manage that. How about a library? Oh, I see. That gets built right on top. Sure. And the extension wing goes on the side there. We don't need higher capacity, I don't think. Not right now. The peoples want more housing. Very well. There we go. Even more demand. Okay. What was the benefit of the sports field? The perfect place for students and surrounding citizens to improve on their health. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move this then, because the sports field is big. Let's move it over here. And then we'll be able to tack the sports field onto the side or the back. I wonder if the sports field changes depending on your theme. Oh, it is having some trouble rendering. Okay. More housing, more housing. All right, more housing. There you go. Let's get some more apartments in. And now that this is cleared out, oh, hang on. Breaking my own rules again. Yeep. No, 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 no. That's not what I wanted to do. Whoops. You guys will be fine. Milestone 3 unlocked. Large village. Congratulations, things are looking good. Okay. We can now do livestock farming. That can be set up anywhere to produce livestock. Stone mining, fire and rescue, police and administration. Very nice. Okay, well, let's get some fire safety in here. The Fire and Rescue City Service responds to fires and accidents, prevents fires from spreading, and safeguards citizens against disasters. They also search for survivors in collapsed buildings after a disaster. Fires damage buildings and can quickly spread to other buildings nearby. Make sure roads stay clear. Fire engines house a number of firehouses and fire stations house a number of fire engines. Buildings that have been damaged but have not collapsed will get repaired automatically. The cost of repairs is taken from the residents' rent. If a building burns down and collapses, it will be automatically cleared after a time. A new building will get built in its place. Cool. The likelihood of fires in the city depends on the fire hazard levels. Average fire hazard 99%. Well, we have no firehouses. Let's build one. Let's put it here. Average fire hazard 29%. That's much better. And how about the police? Crime is an unfortunate downside to building a community. The purpose of law enforcement is to both prevent crime as well as to catch criminals. Police stations and headquarters send out police cars to patrol the city and respond to criminal activity. Apprehended criminals are brought in and kept in holding cells to wait for further processing, such as a trial. Low overall well-being and unemployment increase the likelihood of citizens becoming criminals. So in addition to investing in the police force, also make sure your citizens are doing well in order to prevent crime. What an idea. So we have a police station we can build. Later we will have a police headquarters, a prison, and a central intelligence bureau. My goodness. Alright, well, this is kind of a large building. We'll put it on this side of the road. You want more residential? Of course you do. Of course you do. You also want commercial. Now for industrial, bedbug hostel, tourism is thriving. That's a terrible name. That's awful. What are you doing? Oh. All right, but we can have specialized industries now. Stone. Oh, we can... Well, we have a couple places for stone mining. Kind of on either side of the river here. Let's put it over... Let's start over here so we're not... We'll have to expand the city a little bit. And these are two separate sections. And what other places were there for that? Okay, specialized industries can be built wherever relevant natural resources are available. Active specialized areas will make the city more attractive to industries that can make use of those specific materials. Highlight the resources. Yes, we're doing that. Available resources. It's fine. Okay, you want us to build a hub building. So this is kind of like how industries were managed in the Industries DLC of City Skylines 1, where you have a hub building and then a bunch of buildings that just kind of depend on it. But in terms of good mining spots that would be within potential city limits.
You're back with Second Moon Radio, your second musical home from home. So settle back in your chair, pour yourself a glass, and prepare for another hour of musical delight. Tonight we are doing a musical tour of Italia. Land of art and culture. Que bon, as they say. And an aria inspired by the infamous Vivaldi shall be our guide.
The leader of the City Services Division is with us in the studio today to talk about why they're contracting with outside agencies to provide vital services for our residents. Isn't that going to be costly, Mr. Councilman?
Oh, well, quite frankly, yes. It is an additional expense, but the residents have come to expect a certain level of services, and we simply do not have the capacity to provide them within the city.
Sounds like we're the ones who will end up paying for it. Should we be worried?
I expect the residents would be more distressed if key services became unavailable. Their quality of life is very important to them.
But so is their money. We'll be back after this.
And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
Okay, can I put a bridge over? Not so much. I would have to raise this road up a bit. Suppose I start it here. Okay, and now suppose I take the ore hub building and put it here. Now this has an area which I can stretch out this way. Kind of snap it against the railroad track. Okay. That should get us some stone. And I don't want to expand residential any farther that direction. How are you doing? 95% efficiency, 3 out of 40 employees. It's not doing anything else special. Though, you know, I would like to put in a pedestrian path. so that if anyone happens to work here, they can just kind of walk over. And service buildings can use it, service vehicles can use it as a shortcut. So many open jobs, so few workers. What gives? Well, there is demand for various things at this point. What do you want? You're waiting for a hearse. Oh dear. Oh, here it comes. I always loved watching this. Oh, it's driving way in. Ooh, it's parking way in at the side. Oh, we don't have an animation of the people bringing the casket into the hearse. Oh well, that was always fun. Oh well. Let's follow it because we can. Where is the cemetery? It's all the way over there. Well, you don't have all that far to go. Now, one of the changes in this version of the game was different traffic AI. Cars should do a better job of using all the lanes on the road appropriately. Look at all those parking lots. It's so suburban. And it despawns. Alright. How's our stone place doing? They're getting some employees. We can also build a farm. Maybe... And by farm, I mean a livestock farm, not a veggie farm. And let's get a little bit more housing in, since that's something people are asking for. And then we need all the more industry. So let's put in livestock farm. There we go. Ah, now when I built it in my other file, it didn't want to connect to any of the city services. This one seems to have done better, but... Oh, interesting. I can't move it. Okay, I'm gonna change its position slightly. Let's not put it all the way at the end of the road. You can be there. And your lot area. Can expand out a bit. Oh, that's becoming busy. And I guess I'll put in some more standard industry since I clearly have demand for it. Kind of like this being set apart from the main road like this. What's this? Old cemetery ruins? Oh. Well, I don't want to pave over that. Okay, need some more commercial. And you all want some more housing. That means I'm going to have to expand this area out a bit. Gonna put this here and angle it a bit. How does that look? Well, that's not bad. That even extends this lawn out a little bit. Nice. And if I'm not mistaken, hopefully people can walk in from this direction. We'll see what they do.
Pending updates to our power grid, the city will be experiencing rolling blackouts. We urge the public to remain calm during these breaks in service and to follow the guidelines on the city's website on how to plan for these temporary events. This has been a local public service announcement.
You're tuned in to Second Moon, the channel where the classics never grow old.
And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this. Interesting news from the city's export division. Sources tell us that our city has more services than we know what to do with.
And you know what that means, folks. It means we're not cutting things close enough.
Well, no. The point is we're selling it and bringing money into local
That's right.
economy.
You could almost say it's too much of a good thing.
Or we could say that we're enjoying a positive trade balance and the economy is booming. More after this.
That's not where that's supposed to go. Oh, look at that. You can see the power lines swaying in the wind. I always have trouble connecting these. Why won't you just snap to the windmill? This really is not overlapping. What happens if I go halfway? It's not helping out. Maybe try building another one? How on earth did I manage it before? Well, I'm tired of this. We can import power for a while. Maybe a straight grid arrangement? Yeah, it seems something is very picky and fiddly about that. But let's get some more medium density housing in. Actually, let's put low density in the cul-de-sacs. And commercial. Here we go, still rolling. We have some points we could spend. We get highways, save up for intersections. But maybe we need to start thinking about electricity. we go for an emergency battery station, we can move toward a solar power plant and some other green options. Let's go for one of these and highways. Our peeps do not like the rain. Not much I can do about the rain. Shop late. Is your business running out of storage space? Our new warehouse at 57 Sunset Street has you covered. Let's see what pollution is like. Water pollution. Yeah, it's kind of mostly here in the spot where we've got our sewer output. Not a whole lot I can do about that right now. We have more commercial demand. Let's fill that in. I'm gonna go ahead and turn these into roundabouts. Battery would be great. Yeah, we could put one in. It seems like it's a little more for like disaster preparedness. But let's see. Huge battery banks store electricity that can be used to negate the problems caused by blackouts or energy consumption spikes. Can be upgraded with increased battery capacity and a diesel generator. Maybe put it out by the dump. This thing's huge. This wants to be fed by high voltage. Looks like. So I'm gonna move this here. A building is on fire! Fires in buildings are a danger both to the buildings themselves as well as the residents inside. Don't worry, fire engines have been dispatched to put it out. However, if the response time of fire and rescue service is too long, the fire can begin to spread to nearby buildings. Okay. Well, let's pause for a second and put this stuff down. Let's get our power lines hooked up between the two. Oh no, the school is on fire. I think some people have criticized the simplistic nature of the smoke graphics. There's the fire engine. What are you people doing? And waiting for a hearse. Oh, some people died in the fire. 2 people, looks like. Well, at least you're right across the street. Well, unfortunate. Okay, let's put in. Interesting. There's more zoning here, but nobody's used it, despite there being loads of demand. I wonder why. The housing market stinks. Of course it does. This is supposed to be a realistic city builder. That was the goal, at least. Ostensibly. Trying to get the angle. Is good enough.
This is Second Moon Radio, classical for the modern age. Unlike most modern music, classical has always been penned by someone sitting in front of a sheet of blank paper, using only their imagination.
He's like Sir Nigel, but he doesn't have as good of
Silent
lines.
Audible masterpiece. Now, here we sit, listening at full volume, and our souls are transported. But let us not tarry. On to the next episode.
Polaris
Industry
Suites.
in the region is on the rise, and when business is doing well, that floats our boat.
There's no sinking this boat, Glenda. And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming, as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
Okay, Grand Village. What have we got now? Ooh, we can make policies. We can make districts. We have the production panel. Oh, natural disasters. What fun. What fun. Maybe you have to build a university to get a college radio station. Wouldn't that be great? That'd be the crossover we all know we need. Transportation overview. Okay, grain, farming, forestry, transportation. Bus depot. Ooh, taxi depot. Transport lanes, parks and recreation. Okay, we've got a bunch of stuff available to us now. This is farther than I got before. Okay, well let's quit out of that for a moment. I put down this Polaris Suites, which adds to well-being within 1 kilometer, so that'll help out all this residential stuff. I'm also gonna save the game again. Resume. Okay, different means of public transportation offer convenient ways for citizens and tourists to move around and for goods to be delivered. Well-organized public transportation decreases traffic congestion and lowers the overall cost of transportation. Yes, it does. Using buses, trains, ships, and airplanes for passengers lowers the cost of traveling for citizens and tourists. Public transportation makes it possible for more people to easily visit your city and bring in tourism revenue. Citizens using public transportation have more money to use on goods and services, and with good public transportation coverage, people can quickly move to where they need to go. People are still complaining about healthcare. I need to check on that. Using trains, ships, and airplanes for transporting cargo lowers the cost of shipping goods and materials. Okay. So we have a bus depot. Buses are the easiest way to start a public transportation network in your city. They offer citizens and tourists a convenient way to get around and decrease traffic congestion. This is a long tutorial. To start a bus service, you will first need a bus depot. The depot houses a fleet of buses and has facilities to handle their maintenance. That's familiar. However, in City Skylines 2, we also need depots for things like subway trains. They don't just appear. A good place to build your depot is somewhere away from high traffic and with room to expand later. They don't need to be in the immediate vicinity of the area where your buses operate. Bus lines do not need to pass through depots, and a single depot can supply buses from multiple lines. Okay. Well, maybe we'll put it out by the mine here. Maybe out by the farm. Yeah, let's put it out in this spot. Wheels will be rolling soon. Okay. Bus stations work as large bus stops, and a single station can accommodate several bus lines. Stations can also be upgraded and expanded to include taxi services. Bus stations can handle a high number of passengers, but are not required to start a bus line. To create a bus line, you will need bus stops, which buses use to pick up and drop off passengers. They can be placed on either side of the road. They create a short stopping lane on the road where they are placed, okay? Bus shelter is an alternative to the bus stop, more expensive to build but provide passengers with a nicer place to wait for the bus, especially in bad weather, okay? Bus stop style. Changing the theme will change the style of bus stops and shelters. Change is not applied to previously built stops and shelters. Okay. So they want us to create a bus line. Cool. How about this bus station? How big is that? That's kind of a big thing. I don't really have a... Make some nice shelters. Okay, looks like we can put them kind of anywhere. So let's put one by the cemetery and by the school. The bus line tool is used to connect bus stops, shelters, and stations in a loop, creating a bus line between the selected stops. There is no limit to how many lines are able to use a particular stop, so several different lines can share stops. Great, but let's... put them in a bit of a loop. Ah, and I'm taking parking away as I'm doing this. Let's put shelters by these corners. Right by the high school. And let's come back around the other way. Okay. Where is the bus line tool? Bus line tool. All right. Let's start at the high school. Create a new route starting here. Add a waypoint. Now, I believe we can place waypoints that do not necessarily occur at bus stops. So if we want our buses to avoid places that we don't want buses to go, that is an option. Okay, connect the line. You can add more stops to any line you've already created. Place one or more stops or stations where you wish the route to go. Then using the bus line tool, grab your existing line at the nearest point and drag the line to the stop. Repeat as needed to include more than one new stop. You can relocate stops. You can remove them with the bulldozer. And if you would like your line to follow a different path than the one that is automatically created, you can add waypoints to the line. Waypoints won't pick up passengers and don't need bus stops. They are there to adjust the route the buses take. So there we go. To alleviate the traffic jams caused by people coming into the city, you can make bus line connections to the outside world. Move around and locate the outside connection marker at the edge of the map area. You don't need to own the map tiles all the way to the marker. You just need to have one tile with a part of the road that leads to the marker. You'll need at least one bus stop in your city. Make sure the bus stop is on a road that has access to the marker. Okay? And include the outside connection marker as a stop in your bus line. Okay. Okay, so I can create new bus routes that are coming in. So they're basically combining the buses and the intercity buses in one tool. That is very nice. Okay, well here's some of my buses. Click on this bus, please. It's probably doing like always and going to the actual beginning of the route before it does anything. Are there more? Nope, that's the first one. Purple? Oh, you want office buildings? I see. Well, we'll get there in a minute. I'm gonna watch my bus first. They're stopping at the stop. Was that a dive into oncoming traffic? It sure looked like it. It's kind of swinging around a lot. Alright, one person is on the bus. Some people are starting to use the bus lines. They do look a little bit silly going through the roundabouts. This is a nice line view. I think one bus just passed another one.
How delightful! Another letter from our erstwhile listeners. What's up, honey? Me and my sister love you. Oh, that's nice. Y'all got clarinets and violins, but you got something most music these days ain't. Oh, let me guess. Lineage traced back to the great Haydn himself, Let's see here. Y'all got soul. Oh, yes, soul. A raison d'etre? Delicious. My sisters say whoever you got playing the keys got more funk in his pinky. But I told her that ain't funk. That's classical. Yes, indeed. That must be most exacerbating. Classical music has been known since the time of the early explorers. Funk, by contrast, is an entirely modern conceit, and you'll find none of that here. Funk, as they say, is for the lay person. Now, let's hear another one of those soulful cants.
Interesting news from the city's export division. Sources tell us that our city has more services than we know what to do with.
And you know what that means, folks. It means we're not cutting things close enough.
Well, no. The point is we're selling it and bringing money into local
That's right.
economy.
You could almost say it's too much
These guys.
of a good thing.
Or we could say that we're enjoying a positive trade balance and the economy is booming. More after this. Industry in the region is on the rise, and when business is doing well, that floats our boat.
There's no sinking this boat, Glenda.
Alright, so we've got a little bit of low rent housing in. We've got some other housing. We've got demand for offices. It would be nice to have some small bus lines to support these areas. But let's see, we need to progress into having emergency shelters is what we need. So I could go straight into intersections, but, you know, you just know. You just know that we're going to need emergency shelters. You just know. Okay, disaster control service buildings help both in detecting oncoming natural disasters and safely housing citizens that have been affected by a disaster. Okay, 1,000 people. We have just over 2,000 people in the city. Let's put this here. Actually, no, that needs to be moved. This needs to be moved because I want it on the same side of the road that people are walking on. There's been a traffic accident. Help is on the way. The police, fire and rescue, and healthcare service buildings send out vehicles to the site as needed to handle the situation. Okay. that is something new in this version. Where's the traffic accident? In Cities Skylines 1, everyone was a perfect driver, but not so here. Where's the accident? Not sure. In the meantime, let's get some more shelters in. The bus drivers are like the night bus drivers. Well, I guess so. Let's get a shelter near the school. This is such a nice small little building. And then one in this industrial zone. This is kind of a big bus station. You know, let's plan to put offices over here, and then the bus station will have more of a use. Before I do that, let's get a little bus loop going here. The music is so mellow, not the growing, building, intensifying music. Yeah, it's less American in Paris and more Enya. Okay, let's get a bus station there. Let's actually put these kind of in the middles of the blocks. There we go. And people can transfer to get into the other line. Got trucks coming to the industrial area. Taxis, that's another thing. I guess we don't have those yet. Okay, recreation buildings, areas, and parks increase the attractiveness of your city. Having an attractive city adds to the well-being of citizens and promotes tourism. To increase the variety and size of the parks available, unlock the park maintenance depot in the progression panel. Okay? Small park, small plaza, small playground, dog park, campfire site. Okay. Place something kind of centrally located, but it's not too close to any particular residential area. Let's move it. And just kind of stuff it in there. Of course it's eminent domain. I'm not actually a mayor, I'm omnipotent. As long as it doesn't bug out on me. Alright, but let's get a new road coming in this way. And we'll get some office buildings in. Oh, I see what happened. I've been trying to use curved paths. I don't want to do that. Okay, let's pull this across. And let's get some offices in. Office zones house companies that produce immaterial goods and services. Services such as software and telecommunications for private citizens and other companies. This low-density office zone allows for single-story or low-rise buildings for small businesses. Zoning land for office space will allow for businesses creating immaterial goods to start moving in. Offices will continually need new resources, but as these are immaterial goods, physical connections such as large roads are not as important for offices as they are for other zones. Offices will, however, require skilled employees, so having a well-built educational system is beneficial. Okay? There you go. And we can get some more industrial in as well.
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise caution if you must drive and try to stay off the streets until conditions improve. This has been a local public service announcement.
What kind of future does music have if it doesn't look to its past? Well, I say the question speaks for itself. Here on Second Moon, we know you can't move forward unless you keep both eyes steadily trained on what's behind you.
And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this. Industry in the region is on the rise, and when business is doing well, that floats our boat.
There's no sinking this boat, Glenda.
All right, transportation overview. All transportation lines and routes you've built so far are shown here. They are divided into the categories of public transport lines and cargo routes. You can view and adjust each line and route separately. Very nice. Find the right lines by selecting the type of transportation vehicle they're related to. Okay. Now, one thing Cities Skylines 1 did was estimate how many car trips a particular bus line was saving. I'm seeing usage percentages, which probably just means capacity of the line. But, I'm not getting a sense of how many cars have been taken off the road as a result of having these.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. Increasing areas of forest are being engulfed by flames. The thick smoke rising from the fire makes the air dangerous to breathe. Citizens are advised to vacate any premises near the fires and remain at a safe distance until emergency services manage to get the fires under control.
Where's the fire? Yeah, it might be outside. In which case there's very little I could be expected to do about it. There it is. Yeah, it's all the way over there. There's no way I could even get over there without a helicopter. I haven't unlocked those yet. I haven't even unlocked the Firewatch Tower. Whatever, guys. Specialized industry. Oh, we have more available to us now. Forestry and grain farming. Now for forestry, I think we should expand up this way. Let's go ahead and do that. We can expand quite a lot at this point. Let's grab these two chunks. In theory, we could buy more land to prepare for the fire coming within range. I guess we could. I think it may have burned itself out. Okay, the road goes off in that direction. This road... keep going this way. But maybe I'll curve it around this mountain. Well, it's not the biggest unnecessary distraction we've had to deal with, so I think we're pretty okay at this point. If I put this here, and if I say I want a forestry building, yeah, let's get it right out in the middle of all these trees. Okay, and they want me to draw an area. Complete area, okay, and I can adjust that later. Okay, you've got 1 out of 1 employee. You're just a little camp. What's going on with our farm? Okay, it's leveling up. But this is not really employing any large numbers of people. There's our firehouse. Ah, the old mill ruins was marked as a particular fire hazard. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Let's make this. And let's get some medium density in there. People still want more industry. Valid shape, says who? How's this place? That's leveling up well enough. Not enough customers over here. Maybe it's because you're kind of far away from all the people living over here. Okay, another specialized industry we can make is grain farming. We need fertile land for that, so where is that? I've kind of built over a lot of it up here. Put a little farm over there. Hello, Furple. How's it going? Trying to decide where to expand to next. I'm wondering how much I want to farm and how much I want to take that into account. Yes, the computer is actually surviving pretty well. The part of the laptop that was pretty hot is still pretty hot. I've got a fan pointed right at it. I've got a lot of settings turned down. So, you know, it wasn't without some sacrifices, but knock on wood, we're doing okay. And let's see. I'm glad the stream looks good. I'm glad it looks good on your end. It's hard to tell without looking over at the graph every once in a while, which I am not good about doing. But, you know, part of that is just because people rarely complain about anything. I guess we've got plenty of space over here, really. We could start moving in this direction. Probably good to start moving out this way. Maybe get some offices on this side. This could be... There's a little bit of good farming land here, but it's right where the roads are going through. And there's stuff over here. We have 13 spots we can get, so really, I probably shouldn't stress out about it too much. But also, maybe I don't necessarily need a farm right this moment. Your dog and cat don't quite understand each other. Yeah, I have never had a dog or a cat, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with that, but I know their body language is very different. Still not enough customers for these people. And people still want more and more and more industry. And not office space. How's our forestry doing? Okay, well now they're employing like 20-some people. So that has expanded. But yeah, let's maybe start working on moving this direction. We've already got a train connection. We've already got loads of roads. So and we've got some shipping access out this way that will not take very much effort for us to go get. Missy wants to play. Fuzz takes it as aggressive grooming, but doesn't like it once Missy gets too aggressive. Because Fuzz is responding to the play, so time for big play? Oh dear. Loads of just nice empty space out this way. Now, this riverbed, that is actually a river that is just not very full, so that's something to take into account. But yeah, loads of space here. So let's start moving in this direction towards this lake. That's where we would need to go to have a farm. That would pretty much cover it. Now, the possibly tricky thing will be making sure that everything gets hooked up to roads. So how is the game? Well, I'm certainly enjoying it so far. There are a lot of things that are just a little bit different from Cities Skylines 1 in good ways. These roundabouts, you can just put a roundabout center in the middle of an intersection. So yeah, a lot of quality of life stuff. Buses and intercity buses are handled with the same tools, so you don't have to have like separate depots for them. You can make waypoints in your bus lines so you can adjust where they go a little better. And then there are some things which are maybe bugs and maybe are just baffling. Like I have zoned these empty sections, but no, go away. But the game hasn't built anything onto them, even when there's demand for that style of housing. That's another interesting thing, is when you zone for residential, for example, it's not just high and low density. High density is way up here, low density is way down here, but we have a couple different kinds of medium density. We have mixed housing with commercial space on the bottom and apartments on top. That would be amazing to have. We have low rent housing, so there's a bunch of different kinds, and people have demand for them at different rates. Specialized industry is kind of like the Industries DLC in the original, but they've simplified it a lot. I know that, and a lot of the things that people are really upset about are kind of on the meta level. Things like how nasty the system requirements are. Things like how apparently mods will not be handled through the Steam Workshop, but through Paradox's proprietary system, which some people are very upset about. I was never really active with modding the game, so I'm not really in a position to speak to that. I read something about how supply chains don't actually work as described, but I haven't run into a situation where that's a problem yet. So I guess we'll see in terms of that. We have stuff like people keep complaining about how the healthcare system is bad, but there's a clinic right here. It seems to be covering everything, and I don't know why they're upset. That might be a bug, I don't know. Let's see, let me make sure I get this road lined up here. Oh, come on. Some of the connections are a little fiddly. On the one hand, where are some of my pedestrian streets? I have a few. It's really relatively tidy to have a walkway that connects properly to the actual sidewalk. And then you have stuff like this where the road just doesn't quite want to connect. Or we have my windmills where I could not for the life of me understand where it wanted me to connect the power line. Where it wouldn't count as colliding with something. So there was some of that fiddliness in City Skylines 1 as well. So it's not a unique issue. Okay, well, what happens if I zoom out a little bit? Is it because of the roundabout that it's not centering properly? Can I get rid of the roundabout momentarily? Okay, yes, we'll turn it back into a regular intersection. And I'll see if I can adjust this road better. Yeah, now that's behaving better. Yeah, it did look like it was centered a bit, and then it just jumped out. But see, here's the roundabout tool. I can go into any intersection and just bonk. Now it's a roundabout. Simple. I don't have to draw a bunch of one-way streets into a perfect circle. So that kind of thing is very nice. And yeah, they have certainly done what indeed many games do and took popular mods as inspiration for what they would do. Yeah, come on. And I know that traffic AI is a little better, though I haven't studied that extensively either. Yeah, City Skylines was definitely always one of those games where if you had a particular favorite mod, the game just seemed unplayable without that. I mean, I was like that with World of Warcraft, to be honest. Okay, so our farming area is going to be down here. So let's run this road over. Let's give it a nice, graceful curve. That corner's gonna bother me. Even if I never build on this street, it's gonna bother me.
interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin.
Increasing areas of forest are being engulfed by flames. The thick smoke rising from the fire makes the air dangerous to breathe. Citizens are advised to vacate any premises near the fires and remain at a safe distance until emergency services manage to get the fires under control.
Okay, you told me about a forest fire, but it was a tornado? Was it a tornado also? Anyway, it's over there. Here's something. That's just somebody waiting for a hearse. I don't know. Like, I've seen forest fires happen.
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise caution if you must drive and try to stay off the streets until conditions improve. This has been a local public service announcement.
You're listening to Second Moon, the epitome of classical listening at home or wherever you roam.
And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
I do wish I could shut up the
We're
DJs.
live, and we're getting reports about a traffic accident somewhere in the city.
Road maintenance services have already been dispatched, and traffic flow should return to normal. But if you're planning a quick trip out, you might want to wait a little while until everything clears up.
If you're in it, you already know about it. No use reminding you. Meanwhile, expect delays and drive safe.
And let's just bring this in. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so this, half a grain. Alright, let's... adjust this. You've caught up with the main quest in Coral Island. Well, that sounds like something that would take a while. There's the farm. Could certainly use a little decoration around it, maybe. 3 days of straight playing, wow. It's certainly one of those games where you could find yourself playing for 3 straight days. Okay, so that has high efficiency. There are other kinds of farms. There's vegetable farming, so maybe we can plan to put that next door later. Textile fiber farming. Okay, there's a lot going on then. Potentially. Meanwhile, the people continue to demand industry. Very well. Since I've been having so much trouble getting in more windmills, might as well just fill in the space. Oh, wait, no. forgot I want to keep things aligned. There you go. We do have some points we can spend. Let's get people the ability to go to college. Maybe then they'll want nicer jobs than they could get at a basic industrial building. You've told me about this pretty much before. Education path is citizen schooling from the lowest level to the highest level, okay? College, the first step towards higher education for teens and adults alike, provides the third level of education. It can be upgraded with an extension wing and a library. Okay, where should we put it? Well, maybe put it out by the offices. Especially if I get a bus line running up there. It's kind of big. Hey, Milestone 5, tiny town. Great work. This is a major step forward. You are on the way to greatness. You get tons of reward money. I have not had to worry about my money at all, which is kind of awesome. Like, I remember with City Skylines 1, especially right near the beginning, you had to be so careful to get things in place so that you'd have just enough people moving in to provide you with enough taxes to keep going, but I seem to be okay. Okay, our loan limit is higher. Ooh, mixed housing. Yes, yes, yes. Vegetable farming. Hey, there we go. Communications, new development tree. Very nice. Some various policies. Ooh, radio mast. Okay. It's disaster preparedness stuff. What's going on with the college? We can upgrade it a couple ways. Extension wing. That just builds it out a bit. And library, that gets tacked on to the side. Or the back. I think it looks good here. Provide students with better chances of graduating. Great. You have a type and the game is making fun of you for it. My goodness. More transportation? Nothing much new here. What disasters are enabled for this map? Well, I just turned on disasters in general. I don't know if there's a way to turn them on or off specifically, and I haven't seen a way to just invoke them. But so far we have seen forest fires and a tornado. They made two basically identical characters and then made one unable to even be your friend. Oh. Okay, well let's look at this communications style service. Postal service. The Postal Service delivers different types of mail around the city. Mail is an important form of communication for citizens and companies. A well-working post service will have a positive effect on citizen well-being and the operating efficiency of companies. First, build a post office. And mailboxes. Oh. Place them in convenient locations around residential areas. Post vans will automatically collect mail from the mailboxes. Okay. Well, let's put this out by the offices, I guess. And then let's start getting some mailboxes in. Let's do a farmer mailbox. Okay. Telecom. Citizens automatically have access to basic radio, TV, and internet. More advanced services can be built to better the lives of the citizens. Telecommunications service buildings provide services like mobile networks and wireless broadband. Building advanced communication services to better communications, improve citizen well-being, help commercial zone sales, and decrease the material costs for industrial zones. Okay. Radio mast transmits mobile data, radio traffic, and TV signals. In case of emergencies, the masts are used to broadcast an alarm which allows citizens to react to the event more rapidly. It can be upgraded with a wireless network antenna and increased bandwidth. Okay. This is low noise pollution. Maybe we can put it next to the school. And in a few more places. Okay, that's pretty decent coverage. Except this blind spot in the middle. And the farm, but I'm not going to worry about it just now. Eminent domain, there we go. Okay, there's that. The shark-tailed guard is a romanceable option, and Axel is one of the members of the Band of Smiles Adventurers Guild. These other characters, not townsfolk. Ah. Oh well. It kind of reminds me how in Stardew Valley, Shane was not a romanceable option at first, and he seemed for all the world like he should be, and so finally Concerned Abe added him as one. Okay, well what next? We really ought to progress into some new technologies here. Give you angsty adventurer. Let's see. I'm kind of charging full tilt at intersections, but I would just really love to have these as soon as I start wanting them. We've got 3 more points. What can we do? We can build a university. Maybe a fire watch tower. That could be nice. These towers keep a constant lookout and thus reduce the chance of a forest fire. Where's police going? Welfare office. The welfare office provides financial support for low-income citizens, which increases their well-being and lowers the likelihood of recurring crime. Well, that's kind of nice. Let's, would be a good thing. Train. Train. Full speed ahead. Train. Not even a question.
You're back with Second Moon Radio, your second musical home from home. So settle back in your chair, pour yourself a glass, and prepare for another hour of musical delight. Tonight we are doing a musical tour of Italia. Land of art and culture. Que bon, as they say. And an aria inspired by the infamous Vivaldi shall be our guide.
Industry in the region is on the rise, and when business is doing well, that floats our boat.
There's no sinking this boat, Glenda. And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Whatever,
Thanks,
dude.
Jim.
Whatever, dude.
We'll be back after this.
All right, train services. They come in two types, one for passengers and another for cargo. That is familiar. Both can use outside connections wherever they are available. Rail yards. Both passenger and cargo trains require a rail yard as a depot. Cargo harbors and airports also have the option of building an upgrade that allows cargo trains to transport cargo directly to and from them. Huzzah. Okay, rail yard. Oh, goodness. Make sure to have plenty of free space around the yard so you can build your tracks without any tight corners. Okay, well, we want this. Maybe we should just build into these sections. Let's do that. Let's expand a bit. And then we will have access to trains. Well, we had access, it's just, this will be nicer. I guess we do also have this road right here. Let's go out in this direction as well. Okay. Might be a better spot. Passenger train service. To get started, you will need train stations. Okay, well, yes, but I need the rail yard first. Road required. Okay, so we're going to need to build a road that goes out here so that we can put this near it. Okay. There is something to be said for just getting all the content that used to be scattered throughout a bunch of DLCs and just having them all in one place. Okay, I'm gonna move that over just a little bit. I guess the real question is, if you have Cities Skylines 1 and you've already invested in all the DLCs for it and a bunch of mods, is it worth getting Cities Skylines 2 as well? And I think that question is where a lot of the hard feelings are coming in. Because a lot of people are finding that answer to be no. Wait for the modding community to catch up. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And that's part of why the whole Steam Workshop thing is so unfortunate. Okay, but let's get some train tracks down. Now, I remember these being relatively fiddly to work with. These seem less fiddly. Ah, those are all dead ends. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hook these up. Like, I just remember trains being so picky about exactly what angles they were connected at. This seems to be easier to work with, which would be a very welcome change. I mean, I certainly felt a... Oh, that's interesting. I felt more incentive to get this game right away than I might have if I hadn't had plans to stream it. So, you know, if you're just playing it for yourself and you don't feel any need to, you know, be on top of the latest advances in gaming, probably relatively easy to wait. Track switches were always at sharp, unrealistic angles. This seems better. And I kind of like that they flat out tell you, make sure to leave space for this thing. All right, well, that's a thing. Let's start putting some cargo trains in. We need cargo train terminals. All right. This big thing. Okay, but we need a road to extend out that far. This may mess up traffic, but we'll see what happens. Cargo train terminal. Let's run the road out a little more. Okay, choose a location that is close to industrial areas where materials are needed. Also ensure that the terminal has good access to the road network so trucks can easily bring and take away cargo. Make sure there is plenty of room around the terminal for you to build train tracks with gentle sloping curves. Okay. Oh, interesting. That's a dead end. That's not expected to go through. that's interesting. I may change things in that case. Suppose I move this. Overlapping with what? What are you overlapping with? You're overlapping with the windmill. And you know what? The windmills have not been super healthy. They've not been helpful. Can we just... Actually, let's try this. Oh, you're willing to connect now. Crazy thing. Okay, let's move you. There, now you will fit here. But will there be room for the train track to turn? Oh, look at that. I've left ridges in the ground. Well, let's try this. Extra tracks, capacity for more trains. Ooh. Okay, well maybe later. Where's the option for underground view? I'd like to turn it off. So, I really only care about the trains at this point. Okay, we've built our cargo terminal. Terminals need to be connected by tracks. Remember that trains can't make tight turns. Use the curve tool. We've built train tracks. The cargo route tool, used to create routes that run from one terminal to the next. Select each cargo train terminal in the order you would like the cargo route to run, making a loop. You did not have to do this manually in City Skylines 1, not with cargo trains. Complete the loop by selecting the first terminal again. Okay. So I guess one of the big questions is, how about outside connections? Create a new route starting here. So if I connect from here to outside,
You're
and then back.
with Second Moon Radio, your second musical home from home. So settle back in your chair, pour yourself a glass, and prepare for another hour of musical delight. Tonight we are doing a musical tour of Italia, land of art and culture. Que bon, as they say. And an aria inspired by the infamous Vivaldi shall be our guide.
Local stargazers are in for a real treat tonight, as the aurora borealis is expected to light up the night sky.
That's right, Jim. Don't forget to look up this evening. It promises to be quite a sight.
We're live, and we're getting reports about a traffic accident somewhere in the city.
Road maintenance services have already been dispatched, and traffic flow should return to normal. But if you're planning a quick trip out, you might want to wait a little while until everything clears up.
If you're in it, you already know about it. No use reminding you. Meanwhile, expect delays and drive safe.
It's taking a while for an ambulance to get to the high school. What's going on? Here's our clinic. Can I see where it is? It's not like it's operating at full capacity. There it is. Okay, well maybe as we analyze where our cargo is needing to go, that will show us where we need to put our tracks. And if we expand the city out this way, we've got plenty of room, and we can also use the train to get around, which would be very nice. Do we also have much less city sound effects like sirens when we zoom in? Yes. Not much in the way of sound effects. The big question is... master volume, interface volume, menu music volume, game volume, enable radio. Radio volume. Nothing for sound effects. Maybe they just cut that out. Or a motorcycle. Enable radio. Yeah, but I think I think that'll turn music off completely. Yeah, no music at all. So, you know, if I wanted to bring in different music, I could do that. Let's see, vegetable farm. That was something I wanted to put in. Veggies, veggies, veggies. This sounds like Wildermyth music. Or, you know, some of the stuff you hear on Radio Rivendell. Okay, where is... Okay, let's just set this up roughly. We'll fix it in a minute. Fries. Rest in peace, fries. It's looking pretty good. Okay. More farm. The rows don't quite line up. All right, well, I think our farms need some kind of cargo train station. Chugging a little bit. There's the train track. It's coming down this way. Destination Gilling. Okay.
That was truly superfluous. Masterful counterpart. You're listening to Second Moon Radio. The station of
Superfluous.
educated tastes. Don't touch that dial.
Industry in the region is on the rise, and when business is doing well, that floats our boat.
There's no sinking this boat, Glenda. And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this.
All right, well, plenty of demand for all kinds of things right now. So at this point, it's kind of more a question of how exactly you want to expand. Coal mining is an option. There's a couple places we can do that. Ah, stone and coal are covered by the same areas. Forestry we've already got. We could move or change forestry to be down here, or just add. There's plenty of space for it, since we're going to be going this way anyway. I've gone ahead and expanded out this way, so maybe adding more residential here would be a good idea. I think these are not quite the same angle as what's up there. Boot and Bug. It's an interesting name. Let's leave a little extra space for parks. That's something I often don't do enough of. No more signature buildings for the moment. Landmarks. A collection of landmarks around the world. Don't have access to these yet. Landmarks make the city an attractive destination for tourists and increases the happiness of citizens. Landmarks are somewhat expensive to upkeep. Place them thoughtfully and keep an eye on their numbers. Okay. Ah. They're just really expensive. Campfire site. Use the faux Enya again. Parks and Recreation. Maybe put this in the corner here. Let's put a playground near the elementary school. At least fairly close. Or maybe just on the other side of the cemetery. You want... low rent and medium density. Let's put the low rent up here. It's getting filled in fast. And let's try this mixed housing here. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, and we will need to expand our bus line. Yes, we will need to put that there. Please just U-turn. Okay, there's a taxi depot. Let's put this up by the post office, maybe. Taxi stand and taxi shelters. Maybe just place a few of these down. We don't really have any big tourist areas. Okay. We'll just try a few. People still want industry. How's this terminal doing? Well, we're exporting all kinds of stuff. Or, bringing things in, which the trucks are then taking away from the train station into the city. Well, we might as well expand out on the other side of the train station, since that's going to be a well-connected area. Just go on this side here. And there we go. And let's paint these in. It gets filled in basically immediately. Okay. These trains are going between completely separate places. Does the game let you source water or dump sewage using a lake? Yes. Yes, it does. You can use any body of water. In fact, there's a scenario in the first city, Skylines, that asks you to help out a city where everyone is getting sick. There are two reasons everyone is getting sick. One is that they've mixed their zoning all together, so residential zones are right next to factories, which is making everyone sick. And the other reason is that they're pulling their water out of the same lake that they're dumping their sewage into. That is exactly what happens in that scenario. There's nothing preventing us from doing exactly the same sort of thing here. Alright. Well, I kind of feel like maybe I want to sit down and ponder about what the next step is here, because we've kind of reached a fairly nice place. Ooh, here's our mixed-use buildings. What do these look like? Oh, there's a little bit of sound effects. You just gotta zoom way in.
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise caution if you must drive and try to stay off the streets until conditions improve.
Chemtrail
This
chemicals.
has been a local public service announcement.
How delightful! Another letter from our erstwhile listeners. What's up, honey? Me and my sister love you. Oh, that's nice. Y'all got clarinets and violins, but you got something most music these days ain't. Oh, let me guess. Lineage traced back to the great Haydn himself? Let's see here. Y'all got soul. Oh, yes. Soul. A raison d'etre? Delicious. My sisters say whoever you got playing the keys,
Whatever, dude.
it got more funk.
Cheap and random.
But I told her
That's
that ain't
great.
funk. That's classical. Yes, indeed. That must be.
I love this very Monsanto-looking
Classical music
company
has been
here.
known since the time of the early explorers. Funk, by contrast, is an entirely modern conceit, and you'll find none of that here. Funk, as they say, is for the layperson. Now,
Bigfoot
let's hear
Inc.
another one of those soulful cants.
Industry in the region is on the rise, and when business is doing well, that floats our boat.
There's no sinking this boat, Glenda. And on to our main feature story. The commercial district is booming as the area is attracting more high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good
So
for the
that all looks
community.
pretty good.
Thanks, Jim.
What's
We'll be
this?
back
I think
after
this is groundwater. So if we wanted to get water from groundwater, then we could get it from here, and we need to make sure we don't place ground polluting things on top of it. Get a little more housing in. How's healthcare looking? Looking a little patchy all the way out here. I'm not terribly surprised. Let's get... Oh, that was death care anyway. Alright, let's get a clinic here. Hopefully that'll help clear things up a bit. Alright, but I think I'm about at the end of what I would like to do today, and it's almost 6 o'clock, because I think in order to feel better about the next steps, I think I want to do some pondering about what to do about this big old area that we can expand into. So I'm going to make sure that I save the game. Day 1. And we'll have that be it for today. And let's see who is around to raid. Okay, well, Salford Sal is also playing Cities Skylines 2. She has a lot to say about it and has been enjoying it a lot. So if you want to hear more about its good points specifically, and from someone who's been playing it for many more hours than I have because she streams more and because she got it as early access, you can ask her all the questions that you did not get around to asking me. So I will send you over there. Now, tomorrow night is going to be a special evening event, and that's going to be our it's going to be my pre-Halloween special. Going to play some 2 Point Campus because they've got seasonal content that disappears on November 1st, so I want to make sure I get it in. So see you tomorrow evening. Let me check what time that actually is. What time did I set for that? Let me check what time I actually set for that. Now, when I say evening, I mean Pacific time, and it's on the Twitch schedule, so you can always look at that, but... Come on. 9 p.m. Pacific. So, late night, not quite Halloween, but the night before. And yes, thank you all for joining me. It's been fun to finally get some good time in with City Skylines 2, and let's go say hi to Salford Sal.